and let us start. Today, like I said, today we will talk about the partnership, the trade and investment partnership between Cameroon and China, and how it affects our economy. Is it help our economy to grow, or is it help our economy to decline? First of all, for our audience to understand this presentation, I would like to define the concept, because the better we define the concept and the better people can understand what we are talking about. We have to understand few concepts to be able to catch up with the topic. We have to understand the GDP growth, the GDP decrease, which is a pretty much recession, the foreign trade, foreign deficit, foreign surplus, budget deficit, budget surplus, foreign debt, foreign loan, unemployment, and also we have to understand the concept of direct foreign investment. That's few concepts. I would say that GDP is the sum of product and services which are grown in our land of Cameroon. It means that what Cameroonians local business or household growth in terms of trade, in terms of manufacture, in terms of agriculture, in terms of services account for GDP. What foreign business which are in Cameroon also growth, like Brasserie du Cameroon, Guinness, Bolloré, all those are account inside our GDP. So the GDP is the total of product, services or wealth created inside the land of Cameroon. That's considered GDP. It means that the GDP excludes all the wealth that Cameroonian native born living abroad create. It doesn't count inside our GDP. The second thing is the GDP growth. How do we compute the GDP growth? We compute the GDP growth by computing the difference between the GDP in year 2000, for example, for the GDP, when we want to take into account the growth or the recession of the GDP for 2008, we subtract the GDP of 2008, 2017 to the GDP of 2008. So it's pretty much the difference between the GDP in 2 years. About the GDP recession. The GDP recession in the US, data on the performance of the economy are released, I would say, in quarter. Every quarter, it means January, February, March, you have the GDP performance, means the GDP, if the GDP have grown, how many jobs have been created. So you have a release of all those data performance by the central bank or the treasury or secretary of treasury each quarter. In our country, they are done each semester. In the US, it is admitted that when the GDP is negative for two quarter, it means like the first quarter and the second quarter, then we say that there is a GDP recession. But in a country like Cameroon, because the GDP is computed yearly, means by the end of the year, then it is admitted that the GDP is recession is when one whole year of the economy, the GDP was negative. Also, one thing about the foreign trade. The foreign trade is all the activity in exporting goods and importing goods. It means that with a country like China or the European Union, a country like Cameroon sells goods like banana, like wood, like cocoa, like rubber, and we also import things like cars, like medicines, like cloth, like cosmetics product, like equipment for our factory. So all these account as foreign trade, if it is an import or export. We experience a trade deficit when we have imported more than we have exported, and a trade surplus when we have exported more than we have imported. I think in the previous year, during the years, the data of the World Bank shows that during the year 80s, Cameroon had a trade surplus. But since Mr. Biya took the stage, and because of the poor level of the management of our economy, beginning of the year 85, we started experiencing a trade deficit until today. Also, we want to understand the concept of budget deficit and budget surplus. What's the budget? The budget is the sum of the income revenue of our state, I mean the state of Cameroon, what they collect in tax on personal tax, what they collect in corporate tax, what they collect in customs, what they collect in different rights like mining, like petroleum and whatever. All those revenue account as the state revenue. And now they have the spending what they invest, what they put in social program, what they put in the budget of different department of our state. So the difference, all those are the budget. So the difference between the revenue and the expenditure, when the difference is negative, we are experiencing a budget deficit. And when the difference is positive, we are experiencing a budget surplus. Now, what about the foreign debt and the foreign loan? When we are talking about foreign loan is when our state sign a contract with a bilateral organization or multilateral organization like the World Bank or the IMF. Those are multilateral organizations. But Exim Bank China, for example, is a bilateral organization. So when we sign a contract with, let me see, because for this time I decided not to give a shit to people who send what we call tête de mort. So if someone send tête de mort, he will be banned from this presentation immediately. So yes, foreign debt is foreign loan is when we borrow money from a bilateral organization like Exim Bank. Now, the foreign debt means the whole amount or the stock of loans that we have borrowed from a foreign country. That's what we can call the foreign debt. It's different with the loan. The debt is the whole amount of loans, and the loan is the amount of money that we have borrowed from a financial institution. Is it a bilateral institution like Exim Bank? Is a multilateral institution? Also, we want to understand the concept of unemployment. What unemployment is? Unemployment is when the amount of people who are able to work but who doesn't have a job. When I say job, I do not mean occupation. That's why I wanted to make a precision, because Gregoire Ona is cheating with the data, kind of put people who have an occupation, like someone who drives taxi and who doesn't pay for the social security, so we will not have a retirement. He says that person is working. That's not true. A job is when you are working, you are paying for your social security, you have benefit, and you have a paycheck at the end of the month or the end of the week or twice a week. That's a job. But otherwise, other are just occupations. With that said, I want to now to state the fact between our relation with China. Let us be clear. Cameroon and China have a long run of political, commercial, and cultural relations since our first president or our second president, Amadou Ahidjo. If we recall the history, we can see that China have built on our economic relation with China. China have built many infrastructure in Cameroon. For example, the Lac d'Eau Dam was built by China when Ahidjo was president. The conference center named Palais des Congrès in Yaoundé, Etoudi, was built by China, and many other infrastructure, even before Mr. Biya became the president of Cameroon. It's happened that Cameroon has experienced a long run of economic recession. It was due to the decrease in the oil barrel price, and also other raw material price that we produce, like cocoa, cotton, rubbers, coffee, which lead we lost all a huge amount of our exportation revenues. Because we lost a big amount of exportation revenue, we also experienced a budget deficit, and we have to pay back our loan, because in the same time the rate of the exchange of the dollar went up. So we was in a big we experienced a long run of recession, was about 2 decades. To get out of that situation, financial institutions like IMF, like World Bank, and other bilateral initiatives have put in place what they are called PPT. It means it was a kind of initiative to forgive loans and interest, which bring our current foreign debt from 200% of our GDP to 100% of our GDP. That was in 2011. So it gave the opportunity to Cameroon to kind of borrow again to renew his infrastructure, rebuild new infrastructure, and the purpose was to get out of recession. So that low level of foreign debt after the PPT initiative was a good thing for us, because it gives the opportunity to our state to spend again. Given the, please, would you put the red card, because someone is kind of putting, oh my God. Yes. So we experienced a trade. Yes. And now what's happened is that China, in the meantime, was experiencing a trade surplus, especially with the US, because they export a lot to the US. So they have a huge amount of reserve in dollar, and they wanted to spend those amounts. So they decided to give many bilateral public loan to African countries to help them in renew their infrastructure, because our infrastructure was in a very poor level, because we had too long run of recession, we couldn't renew our infrastructure. The data that I've posted on my wall, which are the data of the John Hopkins Center of Research, which is a think tank. Those data shows that Cameroon have borrowed to China 4,000 billions of CFA in loans to renew or to rebuild his infrastructure. What does our country expected from that policy of borrowing to China? We were expecting, first of all, to shift the economic trends. It means to get out of the economic recession and set an economic growth cycle. So that was the expectation of the government. They were also expecting to create jobs because public spending like renewal of infrastructure will lead to job creation. They was also expecting a raise of tax, and was expecting, like I said, to get out of the recession trend or cycle and to set a new cycle of economic growth. Now, what do we learn from the data of the University of Johns Hopkins Center of Research and Analysis in Africa and China affairs? When I look at the data, I just picked few data from because they have a huge amount of data. The data show that the amount of debt that we took from China or we borrow from China, we use those debt in transportation to build for the port of Krabi, to build roads, to build bridges, and we spend 1,000 billion CFA. We also use that to increase our water supply capabilities. We use 500 billion CFA to increase our water supply capabilities. We use 450 billion CFA to increase our energy supply capability. It means power. It means that we build dam, we build electric dam, Mevele, Mekeng, and whatever. And we also increase other energy supply by renew them, like other previous dam, like Lagdo. I don't know where they are now, but I know they have started something there. We also build our communication infrastructure, like the high-speed fiber, and there we spend 225 billion CFA. The data shows that we have spent 200 billion in governance to increase or improve our governance, public governance. I don't know what this is, because when Cameroonian look, nothing have changed. For example, when I look at those data, I was expecting a footnote which says that each Cameroonian is able to have a ID or identification card for free. Each Cameroonian is able to have a passport with maybe $10,000. So I didn't see any of this. Our administration or public servant worker work in very old building, old facilities, in very poorless conditions. With a, there is some word that I don't want to use inside my presentation because those words may be very, like very bad. So I don't know when they are spent that. Also, they are spent 80 billions in education. So when we look at the ground, or when I check on the press release or the Prime Minister, the Presidential Republic, the Foreign Minister, and whatever, I was unable to have the data of infrastructure. We could match the 4,000 billions of loan that we have borrowed to China. It means that there is a gap, and for me, that gap accounts for corruption. It means that yes, Boning is asking if I could publish my data. Yes, Boning, I will publish my data this just after this presentation. I will publish the data so you'll be able to access to the data. Don't worry, and thank you for your questions. That's very important. Yes, so I was unable to find a release of the Cameroonian government on the Ministry of the Secretary of Treasury, what we call Ministère des Finances, or the Ministry of Economy and Planification, what we call MINEPAD, Foreign Affairs Minister, Prime Minister, Presidential Republic. I was unable to find a release of, and which say this infrastructure, this is the amount of spending in terms of infrastructure we have built and complete, and this is the amount that we have borrowed, so we can make a balance. I was unable to find those information. It means that there's something going on. So to get those loans, what did we give to China in order to get the loan to build infrastructure? What did we give to China? First, that's why we're going to get a little bit angry with our friends, our Chinese friends. We have cut the rate of the custom fee that we charge from goods imported to China. It means that in the 40-foot containers before, if the 40-foot was 20 million, what they call in French mercurial was 20 million, we broke it down to 10 million. It means that our state or the state of Cameroon has lost revenue, which lead to budget deficit. It's important to understand that we have experiencing a budget deficit because we have cut the rate we used to charge to foreign goods imported from China. It means that our custom has lost amount of revenue, which leads to state deficit, budget deficit. That's very important. Those are secret agreements that Mr. Biya have signed with China. And when you look at the disclosed or research from the Johns Hopkins University, you can easily find many articles of research with data on what I'm talking about. Second is the question of land. In the region of center, in the region of east region, the south region, the center region, Paul Biya have give 125,000 acres of land to Chinese private company for them to be able to grow crops, especially corn, rice, and other crops, and export them to China, because China is experiencing a shortage in land to grow food. So Paul Biya have sell for 99 years more than 125,000 acres of land or agricultural land to private Chinese company. What I'm saying doesn't take into account the amount of thousands of acres that he has gave to public Chinese company and also local state in China. When we do the summation, and I will release the data later because I've seen it, some authorizations, some verified. There are a few things to verify. We lead to about 1 million of acre, which is sold in the south, center, and east regions of Cameroon. That's very important. We have give in the east part of the Cameroon, of the east region of Cameroon, we have delivered many permits for Chinese mining company for them to be able to prospect gold, prospect diamond, prospect cobalt, and many other mining projects. So also all the contract that we have from China, like for the $4,000 that we gained from China, all those contracts were executed by Chinese company. That's important. Those are the facts. I'm not inventing anything. Those are the facts. All those contracts were executed by Chinese company. So when we look about the agreement or the term of the trade, that because the purpose of the the government policy, that's good, was to shift the recession trend to the economic growth trend. Okay, but is that economic growth trend was sustainable? That's the question. Was it sustainable? It means, does it lead into job creation, more contract for local Cameroonian local business, more taxation, increase of local capital, increase of state expenditure for social programs? Does it lead to sustainable growth, economic growth in terms of education, in terms of jobs, in terms of the increase of money supply in Cameroonian economy, increase of loan for local business? So I don't believe so. I don't believe so, because to have an idea, let us look at the consequence of those agreements for Cameroon. I would say that no good jobs were created in Cameroon. No good jobs were created in Cameroon. No good jobs were created in Cameroon. No good job at all. Oh, thank you so much, Jean-Francois Shewa. Yes. At least someone is recognizing that we are doing a good job. No, yes. So those people who put the tête de mort, I will just stop the live and kind of block you, because that's not fair. Yes, like I said, what are the consequences? No jobs were created for our economy, for our youth, especially our youth, because we have a huge amount, a big rate of unemployment in our country for our youth. Also, no good jobs were created for them. Poor, very low income jobs were created for our good, with revenue who doesn't go out of 100,000 a day. It was pretty much job where they work 25 days and they get paid 1,000 CFA, local currency, like $2 a day. So we cannot say that those agreements with China have increased the revenue of Cameroonians. That's not possible. Second, we are experiencing a trade deficit between China and Cameroon for 1 decade now. I just want to share with you the data of 2017, which are the last one, because the data of 2018 didn't come out from now. For the data of 2017 shows that we have export for 800 million in China, and we have imported from 1 billion and 800 million from China. So we have a trade deficit of $1 billion with China. That's a big amount when we are experiencing a trade surplus with the European Union, for example. And that's why the European Union says, okay, you have to sign with us a trade agreement so that we can have a trade agreement without taxation, because you are experiencing a trade surplus with us, and in the meantime you have a trade deficit with China, and we are giving tax break to Chinese companies. So there is a big amount of problem there. Many local factories in Cameroon went out of business because they could not afford the competition. I repeat, many locals, please do not put, I'm going to say it in French, ne mettez pas les têtes de mort, parce que les têtes de mort coupent le live, s'il vous plaît. Mettez les cœurs, sinon ça s'arrête, on arrête le live et on passe à autre chose. Voilà, si vous voulez regarder le live, vous défendez le live en mettant les cœurs. Si vous ne pouvez pas regarder le live en mettant les cœurs, vous êtes seulement spectateur. Quand ça coupe, on passe à autre chose. Many local factories in Cameroon went out of business because they couldn't afford the competition. let us say something. China is doing competitive devaluation of its currency, the renminbi or the yuan. In the meantime, China is giving subvention to its company. Chinese company are biggest companies, so they have what they call economy of scale. So with economy of scale, Chinese company, c'est pas possible. Qui met les têtes de mort là comme ça et les trucs pour le live? Pourquoi vous faites ça? Mettez les cœurs s'il vous plaît. Chinese company have competitive advantage. First of all, the monetary policy of China, which currency devaluation. Second, the fiscal policy of China with tax incentives to its company and with subvention to its manufacturer. Third, China also give subvention to company who sells abroad. And five, we have the economy of sales of scale, because Chinese company are biggest company who do business with Europe, with the United States. They sell like 10 billion goods in the US and Europe. So Cameroon is a small market when our company doesn't even afford 1 billion in local money. So many of our company went out of business. We had company like Bata, for people who knows. Bata went out of business because they couldn't afford the competition with shoes imported from China. That's one example. And I can give others example too, you know, of Cameroonian manufacturer company who went out of business. Solado, for example, went out of business. Coach company also, like, no, not Seigneurie. Before there was Seigneurie and another company and one other company. They went out of business because they couldn't afford the competition with product imported from China. There's so many. So if you look at the data of what we call Minister of Finance, Secretary of Treasury, on their website, I think we have a lot of data where we can find company went out of business. I will also recommend a good book of John Paul Martega, which shows that data shows that many Cameroonian companies went out of business. Our state also experienced a budget deficit because we have lost a huge amount of state income revenue, and those amount was coming from our local business manufacture, which have closed. Those amount was coming from personal tax of workers who have been fired or laid out because there were many layout plans. Those amounts also come from the decrease on the taxation of importation coming from China. And those amounts finally also come on the shortage on the decrease of the state expenditure for different programs. We also experienced the high unemployment. Unemployment went up. People who were working for Regifecam lost their job. People who were working for Bata lost their job. People who were working for Sacheri du Cameroon lost their job. People who were working for Safil lost their job. People who were working for Siva in the industrial zone at Bassa lost their job. Many companies lost their job because they couldn't afford the competition with cheaper produce coming from China. This leads to a huge amount of budget deficit. So to compensate, to make the compensation, it means to balance the budget, and state all the time have to borrow the portion of deficit that we need to be able to balance our budget. So the state of Cameroon started borrowing and borrowing and borrowing and borrowing, and never went out of that cycle of borrowing, 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 and borrowing. The more you have loans, foreign loan, the less you have sovereignty. So one of the consequences is also that we have lost a big part of our sovereignty. The future of Cameroon is compromised because to have those loans from China, we sold for 99 years a huge amount of agricultural lands to Chinese company. And right now, I want to say something, because right now people are are not taking, people are not understanding or do not understand the problem. But in the future, when we will face the population grow, they will understand, because they will unable to have a land title in their village, so they will be unable to, kind of look of what is happening now in Sokapan in Bongo, place like that, or in palm oil plantation, and when we go from Idea to Kribi, people there are unable to have a land title in their village, because when they try to have a land title, they say, okay, you are in your village, but you have to know that this land has been sold to someone for 99 years. You still have to wait 50 years. You have problem like that in some part of the country. So with the population grow, we will face huge amount of problem in those regions, and that's why I'm saying that we have compromised the future of our kids. We are also facing a foreign debt crisis. Although the Cameroonian government do not want to say that or to address the problem, we are facing a foreign debt crisis. Please, mettez les cœurs s'il vous plaît. Ne vous fatiguez pas, parce que moi je parle, je vous demande seulement de mettre les cœurs. Sinon ça va toujours couper. So Cameroonians is facing a foreign debt crisis. Why do we face a foreign debt crisis? We are facing a foreign debt crisis because when you look at the data of the World Bank, right now, I think in 2017 and 2018, we were supposed to pay back to China 200,000 billion each year. We was supposed to pay back to China 200 billion each year. We couldn't pay, and China asked Cameroon to pay the interest. It was 45 million cumulated for the 2 years, and Cameroon couldn't even pay the interest. So China has to forgive Cameroon for the interest. It means that right now, the state of Cameroon is unable to afford the repayment of his foreign debt with China. That means, in simple words, that we are experiencing a foreign debt crisis. Although the government of Cameroon do not want to address it, although our parliament or our parliamentarians or our congressmen do not want to open a public debate on the question because they scare Mr. Biya. That's the big problem. So right now, yes, like I said, so let us wrap up quickly because I don't want to go more than an hour, and say, how do we fix the situation? Because that's a very bad situation. That we have to fix. How do we solve the problem? I want to give my solutions in two parts. One part will be the prerequisite, or the first step of the action that we need to take before we start a package stimulus to rebuild our economy. I will say that we have 3 steps. First, I'm going to give the list of things that we have to do first. Otherwise, the package stimulus will not work. And after that, we need to put in place a package stimulus to kind of stimulate the economy, our local economy. And then after those 2 steps are completed, then we have to put in place an economic policy, like to grow the economy in the long run. Long run means 10 to 15 years. First, there have been an election in Cameroon in 2018, the 7th of October 2018. Paul Biya, who's still now in power, has lost the election. And because he has lost the election, because he wants to die into the power, he doesn't want to hand back the election. So he arrested the person who won the election, the president-elected Maurice Kamto, and kept him into custody with, I think, 5 of his allies, Penda Ekoka, Valsero, Paul Erikinge, Celestin Jamen, Michel Ndoki, Mamadou Mota, Yakubu, and many others of CRM members, or yes, members, because CRM is an association. He's still keeping them. So that creates in our country a political tension, and that political tension or dispute is very bad for the economy, because nobody wants to invest in a country where there is a political dispute such as the one that we have now. So first of all, Mr. Biya has to handle the power to Maurice Kamto to end the political dispute. That's the first point. And the second point, that if we have to renegotiate the term of our loan agreement with China. And we have reason for that, especially because with China, when we borrow money from China, for China, all the contracts were executed by Chinese company. No Cameroonian company have a contract. So do not generate tax, and they are unable now to generate business who can lead to the repayment of those tax to China. So that means that we have to renegotiate the term of the loan. China have to forgive us for the interest of those loans, to all the whole amount of the interest of the loan. And now we have to set a new repayment plan for the principal. It means that what we call in French, what we people who are French native speaker call rééchelonnement. It means that we have to set a new amount where we have to decrease the principal due each year. That will decrease the trade balance, the payment balance deficit of Cameroon. That's very important to know. So we have to renegotiate the loan agreement with China. So we have to do the debt restructuring, or the restructuring of Cameroonian debt. That's very important. Nothing will happen. We won't have a economic growth cycle if we do not do the debt restructuring of between Cameroon and China. I'm not, I went through different scenarios and I couldn't find anything better. We have to sit down with China and kind of renegotiate our loan agreements. The other thing is that we have to increase our state revenue by renegotiating the trade agreement with China. There is a fact that I've stated in my presentation. China, in the US, they call currency manipulation, but I will call that currency devaluation. Those are competitive devaluation. China is providing subvention to its factories, subvention for the importation, for subvention to grow, and also the Chinese company have best cost for exportation because they have economic of scale. Like they have partnership, they can buy raw material very cheaper, the cost of supply chain are cheaper, the cost of energy is very cheaper, there's less corporate tax for Chinese company, they have loan with zero interest charges, which are pretty much things that Cameroonian company do not have. So it leads that Chinese company are more competitive than Cameroonian company. So we have to protect local business by increasing the amount of tax on manufactured goods that are not produced locally. We have tools for that, what we call droit d'assises, but we need to sit down and discuss with China to kind of protect local business, because this local business will grow, pay tax, and reinvest the money that they are made locally. That's very important. That will lead to the increase in state revenue and reduce the budget deficit. We also have to put more taxes on goods imported from China in order to balance our budget. That's very important, because in the meantime that we are experiencing a budget deficit, the state of Cameroon keep taking loan from the IMF to finance the budget deficit. But how do we pay back those loans when we are cutting our revenue by giving a tax break to product imported from China? That doesn't make sense. And At least that's why we have supported someone like Maurice Kamto, because there are great decisions who have to be taken to kind of grow our economy that Mr. Biya doesn't want to take. He doesn't want to remain in power, so he's ready to sell the country to everyone who will be able to help him to remain or stay in power. That's very bad. That's very sad. And we have to say that to Cameroonian people. We have to spend more money to help a local business, especially the small business, and to help local business to renew their equipment, to catch up with innovation and exportation. This is the point. First, the purpose of the governance in a country is to help local business first, because the manufacturing product or local business are accounted in the computation of GDP. So the more local business grow, the more you face GDP, the more you face GDP, the GDP growth. So the state of Cameroon have to come out with a plan to help Cameroonian local business to grow. And that plan is something like giving them tax break when they want to buy equipment, giving them the state guarantee for them to build, to finance their building, helping them with guarantee to import raw material, different things. The only problem is that Mr. Biya doesn't have any program at all. His own program is to remain in power, arrested everyone who won the election, torture, things like that, because he wants to die in power and he wants his son Frank Biya to replace him. That will not work. Yes, that will not work. So we need to protect. So if we renew, because the government of Cameroon say, oh, we are expecting a sustainable growth. But the first way to have a sustainable growth is to renew the equipment of factories. Because if you renew the equipment of factories, they will grow easily, cheaper, and fast. That's called in economy productivity. So the main source of economic growth in a country like Cameroon is to increase the productivity of workers, of factories, of civil servant workers. So we have to renew the equipment. So the spending or the expenditure of our government has to go in priority to help our local business to renew their equipment. That's very important, their production equipment. Second, they have to innovate. I take one example. All Cameroonians, when they eat what we call makala, beignet, when they eat bread, all are done with flour, wet flour mills. So look at a country like Nigeria today, they use cassava, they use sweet potato flour. So if we have local country to innovate, it means that to grow flour mills with cassava, corn, or sweet potatoes, what does it mean? It means that it will create a business for our farmers who will be able to grow and sell to those factories so that they can make the transformation. That will create jobs. That will create many business in rural area. That will create opportunity for farmers. That will help our local factory to diversify their supply to the market. And that will increase the aggregate supply, like we said in economy, and increase the aggregate demand, like classical economics says. And that will lead to the sustainable economic growth. So all those reforms have to be done by our state. Other thing is the exportation. Cameroon has a very short market. 30 million people, at least 5 million who has a decent income to consume, to purchase goods. So that's very short. When you compare like China, who have 600 million workers, it means with the paycheck, it means that that's a big, the domestic market of China is 120 times the domestic market of Cameroon, for example. The domestic market of the US is 500 million, is 100 times the domestic market of Cameroon, for example. So our domestic market is very short. Not because we do not have many people living in our country, because of the income, the middle class is very short. So we have to take advantage of the CEMAC, which is country that we have in our local organization. We have to take advantage of trade agreement with Europe. We have to take advantage of Nigeria, CEDEAO, and other African countries, and also China too, because there is many produce that we can grow in our country and sell to China. Rice, cassava, meat, what we call in French canard, I don't know very well the name in English. Even dog. Chinese country consume many meats, vegetables that we can grow in Cameroon and export to China. We need a local program to help our farmers to be able to grow, and we need to set up a supply chain to be able to export in China. That's where our local government has to work. We need to ask China to transfer technology, because Cameroonian company does not have technology to be able to catch up. The Chinese have to sell, then China has to give incentive to factories which export equipment in Cameroon, so that our local business can take advantage of that to renew our equipment. It means new equipment with low power or energy consumption, who goes fast, where we can train our local worker on those equipment very easily. Those are things that's the way that we have to go. We have to change the rules. Some rule needs to be changed now. I've never seen any country where a foreign country borrow the money to the country and send his company to come and execute the contract by 100%. That doesn't work. It means that we can still take loan from China, but Chinese company have to open joint ventures with Cameroonian company. It means that if China company have to build the highway between Douala and Yaoundé, they have to do it with a consortium like Route d'Afrique and Ketch. Local owned company, or company owned by Cameroonians. They have to build joint venture. I'm not saying something bad. That's what China does with Europe or United States. When you want to grow special equipment to China, you need to put joint venture with China and transfer your technology to Chinese company. So in our country, Chinese company come with input, with worker, with equipment, with raw material, with everything, execute the contract and leave. No job for Cameroonian, no technology transfer, no contract for local business, nothing, and then we have to pay the debt. So if we have deputy, and that's why we want Mr. Biya, who doesn't want to change the election rules, because he knows that if the CRM go into our parliament for this kind of question, they will address the question to the nation. Maurice Kamto is not the kind of leader who will come and sit down there like Frundi, open his mouth, take the money and put inside the pocket, and do not do nothing for the change in our country. He will address the problem. So we need to open joint venture between Cameroon and China. We have to have joint venture to execute those contracts. Joint venture need, they share profit, they share technology, they share worker, because when you look at Chinese company, all the engineers are Chinese. There's no Cameroonian there. Cameroonian there is just the cooker, the guy who cook food for Chinese worker. That doesn't work. We need to change that. Those contracts are not good. It's not a win-win agreement. We need to rebuild our industry, our manufacture, to impact to have the good impact with economic supply. Let us recall something. Although they are overvalued, the dam that Chinese has built in Cameroon have increased the energy supply. This is the danger. This is the negative thing, that this is a bad thing that we don't have to do, is to use that energy supply to give to household. Because if we increase the household of the energy supply to the household, it will lead to the increase on the consumption. It means the aggregate demand, but it will not impact positively the aggregate supply. That will lead to inflation. That will lead to inflation. So to avoid this kind of bad situation, the state of Cameroon have first, and I say have first, because I know they never understand something when we say something. They have first to increase the aggregate supply by giving very cheaper energy to local factory or manufacturing for them to be more competitive. The more they are competitive, they will hire workers, they will decrease the unemployment rate, and then because they hire workers, the revenue of workers will go up, it will increase the consumption, and then they will be able to purchase the goods that are manufactured by company. And if those companies have a state program to export their goods, it will also create more jobs. So the energy suppliers has to go in priority to manufacture or manufacturer or manufacturing process plant. One other thing is that we have to give the state support and incentives to local business of Cameroon which export to China. We have to educate, we have to sign agreement, because there is, when you look at the data, there is 200 million foreign workers in China. China is one of the countries who has, that's the good thing with China, is that China is the country who has the more foreign workers in the world, more than the US. There is 200 million foreign workers in China. Americans, Germans, French, Vietnamese, Japanese, Korean, Hong Kongese, Singaporean, whatever you want. There's more foreign workers in China. So one of the best policies that we want to have, because China understood very early that they have to bring foreign workers in order to improve the capability of their industry or their manufacturing process plant. We want to send to China, so the Labor Ministry of Cameroon, Grégoire Ona, instead of doing what we call in French a troubadour, he has to negotiate with the Foreign Ministry of Cameroon. He has to negotiate with China. When he negotiates with China, they were able to set an agreement where Cameroonians who have their diploma can go and China, have a special visa, work there for 5 years to have a good experience, and then when you come back to Cameroon, you will be able to open a factory, to run a factory, or to bring good skills that can have a positive impact on the production or the productivity of local factories. That's very important. That's something that we have to do. Also, I want to talk about the example of Ethiopia. If you look at newspaper, you will find that right now Ethiopia have opened 2 industrial zones, especially dedicated for the delocalization of Chinese companies. Those industrial zones have created millions of jobs, thousands of jobs, have increased the GDP of Ethiopia, have brought in the country a huge amount of foreign current devices. So we have to copy this type of policy by creating inside our country industrial zone dedicated to Chinese factory delocalization. That's something we can do. In the coming day, I will share a nice book written by a Chinese lady, which is a consulting, who works for a consulting firm in the US, in Boston, McKinsey. She's an MBA graduated from Harvard University, and she wrote a very nice book with a lot of data and activity between China and African country in terms of delocalization. because population in China is getting older. Because the population is getting older, China needs to renew his, China needs to send abroad some work who doesn't, to avoid an increase in minimum wage in China. So that's one advantage that Cameroon can do, to manufacture cloth, to manufacture shoes, to manufacture toys. Those are things that we can do, and we can attract those companies. Like I said yesterday in a previous presentation, I work with the Professor Maurice Kamto in his economics and social program. And one of the purposes of that were for us Duke Ekambi said, "Are you serious? Have we not have brain drain for decades? What makes you think these people will come back when they can have their work condition abroad?" Duke Ekambi, Cameroonians always come back. We love our country, they all come back. If right now they do not come back, it's just because the conditions are not good. Because the condition over there, there's a lot of corruption. And one example, if the Cameroon was a country like Senegal, trust me, I will have opened factories in my country with French partner with more than 3,000 workers from today. But we couldn't. We tried, but we couldn't. It's just because there's a lot of condition and a lot of things that I don't want to say here in my Facebook Live. Very bad thing. Like agreement with the devil. Like when you go there, you easily understand what Cameroonian is. It's a country of David. So I don't want to go there. So if the conditions are good, Cameroonian worker will come back. That's for sure, they will come back. When you have 30 years of 412 in the US, at least you take for 5 years. If you are a doctor, you're able to open a clinic in Cameroon and with all a facility with all the equipment and provide nice healthcare services to Cameroonians. So Cameroonian can come back. We will talk about later. We have other presentation for that. Like I said, yes, what I was talking about. Yes, I was talking about the Ethiopian, the localization of foreign company in Ethiopia. Yes, Chinese foreign company Ethiopia. So we have many competitive advantage. Like I said, I work with President Kamto on his program, and one of the things was to create at least 4 what we call zone economic special area where we can grow, like in Edea or somewhere between Edea and Ezeka, when we can have manufacture. Another one is Kumba, where we can also have manufacture because it's very close to Nigeria, with the port in Tiko, with the railway between Edea, Douala, and Kumba, Banga, Kumba. We have also had one in Ngaoundéré, because you have the railway from Douala to Ngaoundéré, and Ngaoundéré, you have the opportunity to sell in Nigeria, you have the opportunity to sell in Central Africa, you have the opportunity to go to Sudan, you have the opportunity to go to Chad, to Niger, Nigeria, and even DR Congo. So that was one of our main projects. And the last one was in Bafia, around Bafia, because around Bafia you have the grass regions who can be combined there with all the agricultural and use Yaoundé Airport or Bafoussam Airport as a hub to do the exportation to the foreign market, like European market in France, Rungis, or in Anvers at Brussels. Those are projects that we have. I was part of the project, so I can talk about that. I was part of the project. I work on that. I still have amount of data here, but they're on my cloud, they're on my computer. If Professor Kamto allow me to do so, I will able to release those work or those data. Yes. So we have to balance our commercial relation with China. With that said, does this end the recession in our country? I don't believe so. Because I know when I say that, people will come with the official data of Cameroonian government saying that, oh, we have a 5% GDP growth, we have a 6% GDP growth. Those are fake data because the Cameroonian government are cheating. If they are not cheating, let us say, okay, we have a 5% economic growth and we have this amount of job created, and we have to go and compare the data on the inside the data of CNPS or Social Security, or the data of IRS, Internal Income Revenue Service of Cameroon, like Direction des Impôts, to see if when we have 5% GDP growth, we have like 400 new workers immatriculated at the CNPS and who pay their cotization. That's how you see that they are cheating, they are lying. You know. We are economists, we know that they are lying, so we don't lose time for that. So that it means that the economic growth is just a fiction. It's not true. It's not real, and it means that if we take the decisions that I've talked about, it will not shift the economic growth from recession to the real economic growth. To go from recession to a real economic growth, we have to discuss, design, and implement a package stimulus. In economy, package stimulus is called an automatic stabilizer. It means that when the revenue of a state is declining, the expenditures remain the same, we experience a budget deficit. And when you experience a budget deficit, it slows down the economy. And when it slows down the economy, let's slow down the economy for 2 quarters in the US or 1 whole year in Cameroon, lead to a recession. To avoid that, to invest the trend, you have to set what we call in economy a package stimulus. It has been done in the United States during the year 2000 by Bill Clinton. I think when he was president, it was from 92 to 2000. He set a package stimulus to kind of invest the trend, because during that Bush, the economy was not going very well. I don't want to go into detail here. So Bill Clinton said a package stimulus, and later, because the economy was going very bad, Obama again said a package stimulus. In my next presentation, I will talk about the package stimulus. There is 2 options. I can talk about the package stimulus of Bill Clinton or the package stimulus of Barack Obama. Because the most recent package stimulus is the one of Barack Obama, I will go through the package stimulus of Barack Obama. How does it work in the United States? How was it discussed? What are the main points? How does it stimulate the economy? And how does Obama does? What did Obama does next after the package stimulus to kind of bring back the recovery and set a long run of 10 years of economic economic growth into the United States? I will talk about how Cameroon can achieve a package stimulus and kind of end the recession and start a long run of economic growth. But again, I want to say that Mr. Biya will never do that, because it's poor level of government, because the high level of corruption in his administration, because of the poor level of management. The only person who we can trust who can do that is the president-elected Maurice Kamto. So with that said, that will be the end of my Facebook Live. I would like to thank you. This was my first Facebook Live in English, and it's not the last one. I know, because my live was in English. Today we were just 20 to 25 people, because Cameroonian people doesn't understand very well English. But we have to do that. We have to start at some point. And I think the day will be 100 people. We will be at the 100th presentation. Maybe we will have more people joining us to listen to this presentation. You know, like I said, well, someday will be 100 people, and we will have more people joining us to listen to the presentation. So I would like to thank you, to thank people who took their time to listen to the presentation. That was